Hospitals are healthcare institutions where people may go to when dealing with problems regarding one's health. Unlike a doctor's office, hospitals are much larger with many rooms and sectors specific for certain issues. However, what are the purposes for hospitals in a virtual world where no one gets sick? As a group, we decided to explore such places in Second Life to find an answer and see who would visit these institutions and why they were created. Second Life has many areas dedicated for medical purposes. Many of these areas have different facilities made for different reasons. Some areas are dedicated for educational purposes, in which these places tend to have colleges located in those areas where students can then gather and listen to lectures, much like how our class is conducted on Second Life. They also have facilities that imitate real-life hospitals. Their purpose is to simulate real-life hospitals for people to experience similar situations as one would in a real-life hospital. This location is United Mercy Care Center. As you can see, it imitates a real-life hospital, having a front desk and even a scripted water cooler. When walking through the facility, it was found that some rooms were actually empty. This is probably because they are not necessarily needed, since there are more rooms further in. Take for example this room. It is simply furnished with a chair, normally seen during a quick checkup. In the next room over, it seems to be a doctor's office, even with plaques and certificates hanging up on the wall. The look of this room imitates the stereotypical image of a hospital room. There are multiple beds with curtains to act as separators between each bed. Here, a person can actually act as a patient, being able to lie down on a bed and hooking up to a heart monitor. The heart monitor then simulates a person's heartbeat with sounds and even illustrations as though it was a real heart monitor. The panels on the wall then gives the user various options to further simulate being a patient. Like, as you see here, you would be able to get an oxygen mask that even has sound effects associated with it. Outside the hospital, there is also a helicopter where I guess in the real world, patients would have been transported in from long distances.
Welcome to Mercy General Hospital. This is a virtual hospital, so there's a door slide open, and apparently we're at the emergency center here. So this space is like a typical hospital in real life. You have you have a little waiting area here, although there's nobody here. Here, this is room number 1. Let's enter, see what we find. Okay, so I mean, not too different from what a generic room in a hospital looks like. We have the sink over here. Hospitals are known to be very sanitary, so I imagine that's what this is doing here. Um, we also have a scale. It's kind of an old-fashioned scale, and we have a bed. Um, Here it says for menu and patient HUD. So if we just click over here, it gives us a bunch of options. Let's enter the emergency room. It has a clock. Here we have defibrillators. We have beds, hospital beds, cabinets. Apparently, there seems to be some medical devices for sale. We have a CPR device here that goes for 250 Linden dollars. Here we have a retro rebreather mask with sounds and animated rebreather bag going for 100 Linden dollars. From the outside, it looks like a very nice place. So let's check out the inside, see if it's just as nice, if not nicer. So immediately we walk in, and it looks rather elaborate. We have staircases. Um, from what it seems, all the walls are labeled, which is typical of hospitals. Um, Walls are Also beige, white. It's also standard for hospitals. This is kind of the directory. So here it shows us kind of all the different departments that are housed in this polyclinic. Vending machine. This appears to be a coffee vending machine. Very nice. Just gonna take the stairs to the next floor. Okay, so this is the first floor, home of the radiology department. It's the surgery wing, where we have oncology and hematology. We have another wing. Here we have sexual health as well as women's health. Second Health Hospital, the polyclinic.
One interviewee happened to be a medical student, and he explained that his purpose for coming to the Second Life Hospital was for training purposes and learning. He explained that there are also conferences held from time to time in certain hospital locations. He also mentioned that some colleges and universities are using Second Life to hold lectures and other learning activities to enhance their training through the use of virtual simulation. That is why when there aren't lectures or training practices being held, these areas then tend to be very desolate. In Second Life hospitals, there are certain restricted areas as well as programs that allow students to access a range of virtual patients which lecturers have programmed in advance with a variety of ailments. These areas have virtual copies of operating rooms where students can learn their way around an OR before they enter the real thing. They can also test their knowledge in the virtual respiratory ward by interviewing patient avatars, which are usually controlled by professional or volunteers who are given scripts. In this area, they can learn to order tests, diagnose problems, and recommending treatment. There's also an area which lets users listen to real cardiac sounds, training them to listen to a patient's chest and identify heart murmurs. With the use of animations, avatars can display certain illnesses as a means of practice for the students. This allows students to practice their theory in a safe environment without fear of making any fatal mistakes. Other groups besides the educational institutions, such as governments, healthcare agencies, companies, and even certain private groups, have increasingly chosen Second Life as a part of their online communication. Since Second Life offers unique design features for disseminating health information, training health professionals, and enabling patient education for both academic and commercial research.